Attention business consultants and business trainers. Release multiple streams of income by licensing your systems and training programs. This webinar is for you if you want to license existing systems and training for residual income, want to create new systems and license them for residual income, want 28 examples of business systems you can license, want to license your workshops and seminars for residual income, and want to find and evaluate the best licensees for your systems. Hello, my name's Stephen Burt, and I developed Licenseit.uk around licensing, especially for service professionals like business consultants, training providers, and business owners generally. Licensing wasn't being used by business owners and service professionals. Certainly affiliate marketing and franchising and other forms of leveraging your knowledge, but not licensing. And there's a need to automate business operations. It just makes sense. And licensing fits in very well into the category of business systems. And finally, proven systems can be easily implemented. Now, because they're easily implemented, they can be easily licensed. It's more attractive for the licensee if something's simple to implement and to activate. If it's too complex, it could cause issues. So what are the main benefits of licensing? Well, the licensor, if you have a business system, you can only generally work within your own geographic area. So if you have licensees who can use your systems, they could be any part of the country or any part of the world. So you get greater reach for your branding, your name, and your system, and with a potential for residual income as well. For the licensee, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. You've already created that system. They simply have to implement it through an operations manual or partially through your support if necessary, but it should be fairly straightforward, so they don't have to learn through trial and error. So they're the main benefits of licensing for business owners and for service professionals. I hope you find the rest of this presentation interesting and helpful, and with that we'll move on to the rest of the presentation. So what are the benefits of business systems? Let's look at a few examples. I know these are general statistics, but they're good examples to give you an idea of the benefits and why it's important to have systems. 74% of marketers say the biggest benefit of automation is saving time. I would think that's the biggest benefit, saving time. If you've got more time, you can spend more time on your business or even time off. Companies using a marketing automation system report up to 451% increase in qualified leads. I would think generating leads is probably one of the most, if not the most important system to have in a business. Without leads, you don't have business and you don't have customers and clients. So if that can be automated, that's a huge advantage. 63% of companies who outgrow their competition are using marketing automation. If you have systems and your competition doesn't, then you're probably going to outperform them. Lack of procedure systems. 97% of employees and executives believe a lack of alignment within a team impacts the outcome of the task. If there's a lack of alignment, a lack of thought processes, you're pulling in different directions, then obviously that's going to have an effect on efficiency. 40% of productivity is lost due to task switching. Again, if you're switching tasks, you're not pulling in the same direction, either you as an individual or employees, so it's going to affect productivity in a negative way. 73% of customer support professionals report managing time and workload was their biggest issue. We all have tasks to do and we all have a limited amount of time. So if that can be systemized, aligning the time to the specific task and how that should be done, that impacts positively on efficiency. So we're going to move on to the 5 main steps of this presentation. So here are the 5 steps to revenue from licensing systems. Step 1, identifying existing and creating new systems. Step 2, assessing multiple business system options. Step 3, preparing the system for licensees. Step 4, finding and assessing licensees. And finally, step 5, licensing training workshops and seminars. Step 1, identifying and creating systems. Document your existing systems, identifying what else can be systemized, and how to systemize those areas. Now we're going to cover these titles in more depth in a minute, but these are the main headings. So the first thing we need to look at is how to document your existing systems. Now while the system is in your head, it really doesn't help anybody else. You've got to explain to someone how you do it. You probably don't even think of it as a system. You just get on and do it within your business. So it needs to be written down. It needs to be written down so other people can follow it. And it has both tangible and financial value if you're going to license it once the steps have been documented and the workflow has been recorded. By the way, these graphics run from right to left. So it's the best I could do, but hopefully that they make sense in some way when we explain these points. So the next step, use tools and resources to make it more efficient. So we can use video or books or a booklet or some way to explain or show other people what you do and how you do it. Can some steps in the system be automated? Well, we're looking at automating the system overall, but there are steps maybe within that system that you don't have to do manually that can be automated. It could be outsourced to somebody else. Maybe you could get some software to do what you do. There are many different ways you can speed things up and automate them, so look at that as well. Provide examples, tools, and resources for clarity. So maybe there's software, maybe there's examples that people can see, maybe online or offline. So make it as clear as possible for someone following the system by using tools and resources that you can provide that leaves people in no doubt what to do and how to do it. Moving on to point 2 of step 1, identify what else can be systemized. List other areas for systemization. So look into your business and see what isn't systemized and what you can list down for that. It's so important, not just from a licensing perspective, but at the end of the day, we're all going to sell our business at some point, whether we want to voluntarily or we're going to retire. Whoever takes over our business will want to see some kind of procedure or system and how to do what you do. Again, if it's all in your head, there's no really tangible or financial value. Examine your operational procedures. How do you do what you do to provide the service for your business clients? How do you teach them? How do you offer support? How do you create your reports? How do you present your training? Are those areas systemized in what you do? They may well be, but again, if they're in your head, then they need to be documented. So look at your operational procedures. That's probably the most important area. Are you getting consistent results? Again, this is a clue whether your system is working or not. You might have a system, but if you're not getting the results that you want and it's not consistent, then that system needs to be improved. And finally, what goals or results do you want? Have you set goals and targets for the results from the service that you provide? If not, set those goals and start by creating a system to achieve those goals that you want to achieve. Step 3 of step 1, how to systemize those areas. So you need to map out each step of your new system. Now, because it's a new system, it's unproven, there's no template to go by. So invariably, you won't get it right the first time, but that doesn't matter. We just need to start out with what you think your new system should look like. It will evolve over time. It's not going to be an exact science, so prepare for your new system to change. It will be like any system, even an established system. New software comes out, new ways of doing things, so it will be a state of flux, but you have to start somewhere. If you need inspiration, research similar systems online. If we go straight to Google now, let's search for referral systems. As you can see, we have a whole list of referral systems, some for different markets, what other people have searched for, types of referral systems in healthcare. These are obviously adverts for referral systems, so you can click on these and see if they might help you. Obviously, you won't want to plagiarize someone else's system, but it might give you inspiration in what you want to do or how you want to work your own system without obviously plagiarizing somebody else's system. If you want a paid program, that's fine, if that suits you. So you get free guides when you opt in. Referral systems for healthcare partners. So have a look at these and look at the sublinks as well that might help you. How to create a scalable referral system for your agency. Medical care, appointment and referral systems, and so forth. It's all there on Google for you to have a look at. I'm going to try something else, like perhaps lead generation. Generate more leads for business on these ads, smarter lead generation, so on and so forth, similar type of thing. Top lead generation software for 2019, 36 best lead generation tools to get more targeted leads. And of course, you can put your industry in here as well, lead generation for healthcare, real estate, finance, whatever your specialist field is. Ask yourself what should happen next. It sounds straightforward, and you probably already know. There may be one step that perhaps should be swapped round with something else to make that more efficient. Try and put yourself in the mind of the person who's following your system. What would they expect to do next? What should happen next? So it makes sense for anyone else from an outside point of view to look at your systems and say, yes, that's logical, that works, and of course it must work in a logical sequence. Also ask yourself, is every step necessary? There may be steps you've put in your system that aren't really necessary, that don't add to the value of your system or don't enhance it or don't increase its efficiency. By the same token, if every step is necessary, then obviously it's got to be included. You've got what needs to be there, but you haven't got filler steps either. Moving on to the next slide on how to systemize those areas. Test the system internally to iron out any flaws. Pretty self-explanatory, really. If you're going to make mistakes, make them internally in your business first before going live. Obviously, this is going to save you time and money if you do it inside your business. Test your systems with employees or other people or to yourself to make sure it's working properly first. Measure outcomes, time and performance. So have some form of measurement, maybe time, financial, in what you expect that system to produce. Is it acceptable to you? Is the performance, how it operates the system, is that acceptable to you? And document those outcomes, document and measure how the system is performing so you can review it regularly. You can use a spreadsheet, whatever you want to use, write it down so you know how it's performing and you can assess it in the future. Decide on acceptable tolerances. Very rarely is anything so precise it's to the exact minute or to the exact penny. If it's a marketing system, how much money are you prepared to spend within a tolerance area to achieve a desired outcome? What are the tolerances you are prepared to accept for an educational standard or experience when taking on staff? You get the idea. So decide on how far you are prepared to go within your system to get the desired result. Always improve and test different aspects. So we're looking for constant improvement. You can review your systems perhaps every month, 3 months, 6 months to see how they can be improved. New software and tools are constantly evolving, new ways of doing things. Are your procedural systems performing as they should do? Are they meeting the acceptable standards that you expect for your customers and your clients? See if you can improve on those. Right, moving on to step 2, multiple business system options. Areas of business that can be systemized. Now, a lot of these will be self-explanatory, but perhaps one or two might provoke thoughts of how you can systemize some of these areas in your own business. So let's get started. A system for generating new leads, obviously very important. Without leads, we don't have any business. A system for following up on those leads. Are they going to be followed up automatically with an email system, with an autoresponder, or perhaps a telesales team are going to follow up? What's the system going to be for that? A system for capturing and recording a prospect's details. Once you've captured those leads, they need to be recorded. It can be in a CRM system or whatever you think is best. There needs to be a system for doing that. A system for converting leads into paying clients. Once you've got those leads, they need to be followed up quickly. What is the system for doing that? A system for product fulfillment with multiple clients. If you have several clients at once, how are you going to fulfill the service that you provide and meet their expectations? A system for high quality product fulfillment. What are your quality control systems? How is the standard of your service and product fulfillment going to be met? A system for client screening and verification. Not all clients will be ideal. Some may not be reputable, some may not have the financial means to pay for your services, so they need to be screened and verified. A system for creating customer satisfaction. Obviously, good service creates customer satisfaction, but do you have a system for meeting a customer's expectations automatically so that they have no excuse not to be satisfied? A system for upselling new clients to other products and services. Do you have staged levels of service, a bronze, silver and gold upsell system for your products and services? And how are you going to put that into effect? A system for content creation for articles and social media. You can't do all this yourself. Well, you can, but it's going to take you time, and that's time you're not working on your business. So are these tasks going to be outsourced or automated through software? A system for updating websites, blogs and social media. Very similar to the last one. Who is going to do this? Do you have perhaps a VA or a personal assistant who can do these jobs for you? A system for dealing with admin and outsourcing. Again, a VA or personal assistant could help you with that. A system for project management. You being the small business owner or a professional service provider will probably want to manage the projects yourself. But if you are a bigger business, you may want to outsource project management. A system for working on the business instead of in it. If you can create a system that takes you out of you providing the service directly, you can train somebody else up to do that for you, then you can spend time working on your business and the strategy instead of constantly wearing yourself out providing the service directly. A system for working anywhere on the business. You want to be able to work when you want to work, and that quite often means being mobile, where you can have an internet connection and you can work on your business without being stuck in the office. A system for delegating tasks, and to whom? Are you personally going to delegate? Or are you going to have a personal assistant who delegates the tasks on your behalf? A system for CRM to manage customer information. You might want to do this yourself through the many different types of software, or you want to create a system that someone can do that for you. A system for maintaining customer loyalty. What system can you create that offers incentives to keep your customers loyal to your business, as well as providing excellent customer service? A system for referrals to generate new business. What referral system can you create that incentivizes your existing and new clients to refer you new business? A system for finance, payroll and expenses. Do you have a bookkeeper you can use, or an accountant, or someone in your team who's good at managing finance and payroll? A system for IT support and backup. Sometimes things go wrong with supporting your IT systems and backing up information, so you need a system for that. Absolutely crucial in this day and age. A system for staff recruitment. What type of people are you looking for? How can you standardize this to have the right type of potential employees applying for your positions? A system for interviewing candidates. How are you going to interview them? Is there a standard procedure, the same type of questions? A system for shortlisting and assessing those candidates. What system are you going to use for shortlisting and assessing their capabilities? A system for training new and existing employees. You have training videos, manuals, systems that you can employ to establish new employees and to reach the required standard that you need quickly. And your existing employees, how can you increase their skills? What training programs and systems can you use to achieve that? A system for staff reporting. If your staff report directly to you, how are they going to do that? What checklist or what system are they going to use that you get consistent results in the same format that you can use productively and quickly to enhance your business? A system for competition and market research. Who is going to research your competition so that you know what you have to do to stay ahead? Again, perhaps this can be outsourced to a VA or to another member of staff. You need to know through market research where your business is going. Who is going to do that? A system for product or service operational procedures. This is hugely important and probably one of the most important systems listed here. Your operational procedures need to be systemized so you get predictable results for the service that you provide. How is that going to happen? And how can you create a system that standardizes your operational procedures to achieve the same high standards? Step 3. Preparing the system for licensees. There are 4 areas we're going to look at. The first one is how to create a standard operational procedures manual so the licensee has something to follow. Then how to prepare the content with the licensee in mind. How to include adequate training resources for the licensee. And the content you need to include for the licensing agreement before it goes to a solicitor. So we're going to create a standard operational procedures manual. This is essential, it's not an option, for several reasons. So what does the Standard Operational Procedures Manual, or SOP, include? Well, really it's a documentation of your expertise, all your knowledge, skills and know-how condensed into written form. It's a system in itself, it's written down, it's a tangible system to follow. Of course, you may not just have one licensee, you might have several licensees. So you are promoting standardization and a level playing field for all your licensees. So it doesn't matter if you're promoting a property seminar, a financial seminar, personal development, finance, whatever it might be, you are promoting consistency within your licensees. Make it as detailed as possible. The more detail in there, the less likelihood there are for variations within your operational procedures manual. It also negates mistakes being made. Obviously, it promotes clarity. So include all the details of your system, any additions that need to be made, whatever it takes, make it as clear as possible so your system is being followed exactly as you require it. The Standard Operation Procedures Manual is also a fluid document. It's going to be in a state of flux. Your system will improve over time, hopefully. There'll be new software, new ways of doing things, new tools available, different people coming to the system, etc., etc. So it won't stay in its current format. It will be subject to change. And also copyrighted. It's your intellectual property. It's your knowledge, skills, and know-how about how your system works. That's valuable IP. So don't forget to copyright it and put that copyright notice on all your documentation within the system. We're going to prepare the content with the licensee in mind now. So when you identify potential licensees, you may well want to get the potential licensee to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. At the end of the day, you will be discussing your intellectual property, your know-how and your skills with them, so you don't really want them taking on board what you've said or shown them and then trying to implement it themselves. If you feel you're going to discuss something confidential within your business and your know-how, get them to sign an NDA. Be clear what licensees can and can't do. Your system might be in different formats. So what type of media formats or what combination of formats can they use? Where can they use your system? What geographic area? Who can they use your system for? Are you going to restrict it to their own niche, their own industry, their own type of business, and what type of industries they can use it? Include marketing systems if needed. If the system you are licensing needs a marketing system, perhaps it's a system for selling a product or a service, it needs its own marketing system, then obviously that needs to be included as well. State what support you're going to offer. Are you going to offer personal one-on-one consulting for a day or two? Are you going to offer a training manual? Obviously you will have the Standard Operation Procedures Manual, but are you going to offer a separate training manual or course outside of that? At the end of the day, with marketing systems and support, you want your licensees to be successful. If they are successful, then obviously you are successful and you'll get ongoing royalties or payments as a result of their success. Include adequate training resources. Fairly obvious, this one, but give licensees everything they need. Provide the necessary support from you or your colleagues, the necessary training materials, everything they need to follow your system correctly. Link to training videos and other resources. You could create a PDF with links to your YouTube videos, audios, ebooks, web pages, whatever multimedia training is needed to follow your system. Yes, they have the Standard Operational Procedures Manual, but that's a manual and it's not multimedia. So seriously consider providing links to other resources to support the SOP manual. Create training materials if they aren't already available. This might sound daunting, but you could produce a screencast video like we're doing now. You could perhaps just shoot a simple video on your smartphone explaining a specific point in your system. So if you have a gap in your training and you can't provide links to external training resources, it's very important that you create your own. If appropriate, use finished examples of the system. This may not always be possible to do, but you might have another system in your business that's very close to the one that you're creating, so perhaps you could use that as a template. Basically what we're saying is provide everything and anything you can for your licensees to follow so they follow your system correctly. Content for the licensing agreement. Now we're going to backtrack a little bit here because we discussed earlier about the non-disclosure agreement, and that will have been created for your licensing opportunity. And obviously your NDA keeps your confidential information intact. And you're going to lay down the basic terms on what we call a deal sheet or a memo, what they can and can't do before you create the licensing agreement. This deal memo is going to be sent backwards and forwards between you and the licensee until you're both happy with the terms in it. Now in that licensing agreement, once you've agreed the deal memo, you're going to add the content in a lot more detail. So exactly what the system is, how it's used, Copyrights and trademarks are in there but not included in the agreement. They're your intellectual property. There might be other technical know-how that you want to protect that they need to use to deliver the system, but it's not part of the licensing agreement. Clear on what they can and can't use to deliver this system. How can it be delivered? Can it be delivered just in their business? They might have other businesses or subsidiaries, so where is the license limited to? Where can it be delivered? Are you going to put a geographic boundary on where they can use your system, a certain county area or town or city? Can the licensee mix and match? Can they use their own systems of their own intellectual property and mix it with yours? Can they use part of the system or parts of the system instead of the whole system? Be very specific with your rights and what you're licensing and how they can use it. Which brings us on to the footnote, always use professional legal services to construct your licensing agreement. You need to put your own nuts and bolts and your detailed content of the licensing agreement first, but obviously your legal professional or solicitor will help you to fine-tune it with the rights to protect you and the licensee. Moving on to further points now for the licensing agreement. What formats can the system be delivered? Now this and the following points will have been included in your standard operational procedures manual and probably touched on in your deal memo as well, but they now need to be included in your licensing agreement in a lot more detail. So what formats can the system be delivered? Is it going to be digital, print, online, whatever the format is for them to follow your system, that needs to be in the licensing agreement. Successful marketing systems, if they're going to sell your system onto their clients and you have already sold your system to others successfully, how you did that and your marketing system needs to be included in the licensing agreement as well. What kind of support will they receive? Whether it's personal mentoring, multimedia support, practical help in some way, whatever it is that you're going to offer, it needs to be in the licensing agreement. State any performance guidelines or sales targets. Again, if they're going to sell your system onto others, onto their business clients, and you have a royalty expectation, perhaps quarterly or on a predefined timescale, we'll probably want to have performance guidelines set in the licensing agreement so they have sales targets to reach. Moving on to the final slide now for the content for the licensing agreement. State clearly what registered trademarks and copyrights are yours within the agreement so they don't breach them when they are teaching your system to others or selling your system to their clients. So they need to know precisely what your trademarks and copyrights are to protect your confidentiality. What are you, the licensor, going to provide? Not just training. Are you going to provide updates in the future? And when are you going to provide them? Are you going to provide revised training materials, perhaps email or telephone support, online resources to host your system, teaching tools to promote and use your system? Anything and everything that you are going to provide needs to go in the licensing agreement. How are you, the licensor, going to get paid? Obviously very important. Are you going to get paid monthly, quarterly? Are they going to pay you directly into your bank with a direct bank transfer? Are they going to pay you into your PayPal account? So all your payment details from your licensees, how they're going to pay you and when they're going to pay you, obviously needs to be included in detail in the licensing agreement, so there's no excuse for you not to be paid on time. Due to confidentiality and non-disclosure, there will probably be parts of your system that are confidential to you, confidential to your business, that you don't want breached when they teach your system to their clients or when they sell your system. Your intellectual property or parts of it may well be confidential to your business and you don't want it disclosed to anybody else, but they as licensees need to use it to use the system. Anything that's confidential or you don't want disclosed to a third party needs to be identified and the appropriate non-disclosure form included in the licensing agreement. Moving on to step 4 now, finding and assessing licensees. You can have the best licensing opportunity in the world, but if you can't find and assess the right licensees for your opportunity, you're not going to go any further. So this is a very important step. In this section, we're going to discuss how to identify the market and prepare the product. Who is the potential market for your licensing opportunity, and how are you going to prepare the product with them in mind? What you need to market the opportunity, and how you're going to market that opportunity. How to find potential licensees. And finally, how to assess those potential licensees, that they are suitable and going to be successful, or likely to be successful, for your licensing opportunity. Right, the first point in section 4 is how to identify the market and prepare the product. The first thing to consider is what type of licensee will be interested. Where are your licensees going to come from? Are they going to come from your industry? Perhaps a closely related industry? Have a careful think about what type of licensee will be interested in your licensing opportunity and the system that you're licensing. Or it could be a digital product that you're licensing. Whatever it is, who are going to be your most likely prospects to license your opportunity? Package your system into a usable product. We've already covered this in some depth, but obviously you're going to create your standard operational procedures manual. You're going to use perhaps ebooks, blogs, podcasts, audios, flowcharts, diagrams, infographics, screencasts, videos, all sorts of things you can use to package your system in a way that's easy to follow and to put your system into practice. How is it going to generate wealth? At the end of the day, they are licensing or potentially licensing a money-making opportunity by using your system. So how is your system going to generate wealth for your potential licensees? That needs to be clearly identified and laid out also in your licensing agreement, so potential licensees can see exactly how your system makes money for them and benefits their business. Is there a successful marketing system? We've covered this in some depth already, that sells your product or your system successfully, but that's all part of preparing the product and needs to be included. There are certain things that you can use to really promote your licensing opportunity effectively, business system or a product, and we're going to go through those quickly now. First one, quite simply, is a marketing brochure, something you have printed that briefly lays out the opportunity to any potential licensee. This can be given out in person or sent out in the post to those potential licensees who are most appropriate for your licensing opportunity. And the next one is really very important. It's to create a licensing opportunity website, or at least a licensing opportunity web page. Now, the benefit, obviously, over a marketing brochure or something that you print is that this can be updated regularly, information added to it, and those that receive your marketing brochure will be referred to your licensing opportunity website or web page for more detailed information. Now, on your licensing website or web page, you will include client testimonials, previous case studies, any research documents, sales statistics if your potential licensees are going to sell your business system. It'll also demonstrate the value of your business system, how it can benefit them, or if they're going to sell it as a profit opportunity. Anything really that will give them more detailed information and how it's going to benefit potential licensees. And obviously from your licensing website or web page, they can contact you to follow up for more information. You can also have a contact form on that web page or website where they enter their name and email address before they get access to the website. So you've captured their contact details, and that will give you an opportunity to follow up with them personally. Create an approach letter or pitch deck. That approach letter could be a printed letter, it could be an email, whatever you feel is best or most appropriate for your potential licensees to receive. Bear in mind, emails quite often get spam, so if it isn't somebody that you have approached before, it would probably be better to send them a letter. You could create a nice graphical pitch deck. Again, this can be printed, or you could create a PDF to send as an attachment by email to prospective licensees. Both the letter and the pitch deck, of course, like the brochure, will be an abbreviation of your opportunity and refer them to your licensing opportunity website for more information. And the easiest way, of course, is to contact people that you already know, your existing contacts, by word of mouth, by email, or send them an approach letter, and by networking through any networking organisations that you belong to. So we need to look at how to find potential licensees. Before we do that, we need to find out who is in the market for your expertise. Basically, this falls into two categories. The first one is the obvious one. It's your business niche and your personal area of expertise. What other businesses, what other professionals your business system be very useful to? How would it add to their business, expand their business, generate revenues? How would it improve their business efficiency? So look at your own personal market, your own business niche, the type of businesses within that niche that your system would benefit. Second area is those businesses that aren't in your niche but are looking to perhaps expand into it. They could be new business startups. They could be businesses who are in a different niche but looking to expand into your niche to increase their product line. Are complementary businesses already operating in a niche market? It may not be exactly the same as yours, but your business system could still be a very good fit. Maybe your business system could be tweaked just a little bit to apply to different niche markets. We mentioned this on the previous slide, but look at your own contacts first. Now, that's not just your database of clients. It could also include friends and contacts, even vendors. And of course, there's the people that your contacts know. So you could go second or third degree out and ask your friends and contacts who do they know that might be a suitable fit for your business system licensing opportunity. Then we come on to promoting your licensing opportunity. One good way is an online press release. You could do a series of short press releases to your target market, to those that are most likely to respond to your licensing opportunity. Obviously, social media advertising, especially LinkedIn, to those targeted businesses or professionals that could really benefit from your business system. Niche business publications, both offline and online. There are really numerous ways to promote your licensing opportunity. That becomes much easier when you've identified who your market is for your business system and the most likely prospects to license it, and then you will know how to advertise and where to advertise to reach your potential prospects to license your business system. And finally, where to find potential licensees. And these could include searching on Google for similar businesses in your business niche or complementary business niches and approaching those businesses, especially if they're in a different geographic area to you. Targeted trade directories, both online and offline. Look at the business area where your potential licensees might be. Do they belong to a trade association? Obviously, targeted forums and blogs online that reach your potential licensees. Social media groups. Groups are set up for just about everything online nowadays. A quick search on Google or Bing will soon find targeted groups where your potential licensees might frequent. You could also look at upcoming business exhibitions for those that are both exhibiting and attendees who could well be your potential licensees. This isn't an exhaustive list, obviously, but those are some areas that you can start looking to find licensees that might be suitable to license your business system. We've identified who the right type of potential licensees are. We've marketed the opportunity to them. So we're going to find out how to assess potential licensees. Will they be a good fit for your business? First of all, is there a good relationship between you and the potential licensee? There's got to be some synergy there between you both. Do you get on? Are they argumentative? Do they ask questions? Basically, is there a good rapport, good relationship between the two of you? Do they have the expertise to implement your system? Either personally or within their business, can your system be implemented correctly? If they don't have the skills to implement it, they don't have the technology, the software, the resources, the ability to implement your system, then obviously that licensee is going to be a waste of time. Does your system enhance their business? It sounds pretty obvious, but at the end of the day, is your system really going to benefit them and their business and enhance it in some way? You both need to be honest to identify whether or not your system that you're licensing to them is going to be a good fit. Do your research before contacting them. Now, this applies both to the potential licensee personally and their business. So do your research on Google and social media sites, establish that there isn't anything negative about them. Have a look on social media groups, do your research on their business. You could look on Companies House to do a company check. Make sure that they are reputable and honest as much as you can. How long have they been in business for? Who are their clients, etc., etc. So all this information helps you to build a picture of your potential licensee before you even speak to them. And if you find anything negative or anything that concerns you, then it's best to move on to another potential licensee. So it's very important to do your research first before you even contact them. Are they already reaching the right potential clients? If you're licensing a marketing system, are your potential clients going to be the same as theirs? If they're not, then is your marketing system going to be a good fit for them? How does the licensing opportunity benefit them? If they're selling your system or selling a product, then they're usually buying basically a business in a box, a money-making opportunity. So that's very straightforward. But with a business system, how is it going to benefit them? Is it going to help them to increase productivity? Is your system going to solve a specific problem? If a potential licensee sees that your product solves a specific problem, they are much more likely to invest in a license. Does it lower costs? Likewise, if the system saves the end user money, it will have great appeal to potential licensees. Does it create a new sales opportunity? Maybe your business system creates a sales opportunity for potential licensees in that business. Does it offer a competitive advantage? If your system offers a competitive advantage, it could really leverage their business in a massive way. So look at the potential licensees and how your business system is really going to benefit their business. Step 5, licensing training workshops. The final step, but not so much a step really, more of an additional option for you. You may not have considered licensing training workshops, but they in themselves contain systems in their own right. Marketing systems for bringing in attendees for your workshops and seminars, systems in the presentation of the content, and systems in licensing those workshops. While there are a lot of similarities, there are also some aspects that do vary from licensing business systems. So we're going to cover the benefits of licensing workshops and seminars, how you, the licensor, the owner of the workshop or seminar, really benefit from licensing content and intellectual property of your workshop to others, marketing those workshops and licensee evaluation, how you go about marketing them and how you evaluate your licensees. Again, a lot of similarities when licensing business systems, but there are one or two differences. The licensor's responsibilities. You, the licensor of your workshop or seminar, what are your specific responsibilities to the licensees? And finally, content for the licensing agreement. Yes, the content is similar for the licensing agreement for business systems, but there are one or two differences. We won't dwell on the points where they're the same, but we'll go through this quite quickly so you are aware of the options for licensing your workshops and seminars. So what are the benefits of licensing workshops and seminars? First and foremost, it's a business wealth creating opportunity. If it's a good fit for a consultancy or a training company, why wouldn't they license your workshop or seminar from you? It saves them having to do all the work. It's effectively a mini business in its own right. You've done all the work, they don't have to create it, and if it's an ideal fit, it makes sense to license the workshop or seminar. It also brands the licensor as the expert in their field. The more licensees there are, the more people that know about you, the licensor, and the better known you become. So it's also an effective branding exercise and gets your name out there by using licensees to promote and sell your workshop or seminar. It generates leverage through multiple licensees. Licensing provides massive leverage for you, the licensor. At the end of the day, you only have limited time to promote your seminar or workshop. So by having multiple licensees, they are doing that work for you over a much bigger area than you can cover personally. So it makes absolute sense to license it, to let other licensees do all the work. Multiple licensees can present multiple workshops with no effort from you. And you, the licensor, earn increasing royalties as a result. The more licensees you have, the more royalties you will gain. It enables greater geographic reach. Pretty self-explanatory, we touched on this just now. The more licensees there are in different geographic areas, the wider geographic reach you, the licensor, has. You could never reach all those different areas by yourself. Well, you could if you drove around all those areas, but that's just not time or cost effective to do that. So why not let licensees present your workshop or seminar in different areas around the county or around the country or even internationally? There are no marketing costs or additional work. You, the licensor, don't have the marketing costs and work involved. They are promoting the workshop or seminar, they pay for those marketing costs, and they are presenting the workshop or seminar, not you. The licensee carries all the cost and does all the work, and you take a percentage of all the sales generated by the licensees. Moving on to marketing workshops and licensee evaluation. Again, very similar to business systems. But like business systems, the workshop must have proven results. If it's proven successful, then obviously licensees are going to be attracted to it, and the same applies to workshops. So what does successful mean? Obviously financial, the amount of paying attendees to your workshop or seminar over a period of time that's been recorded and proven. Or it could mean products that are sold from the workshop or consulting, or a combination of both. Or it could mean training results. Maybe it's sales training, and those sales training students from your workshop or seminar have gone on to greatly increase performance in their sales as a result of your training. So anything licensed, regardless of what it is, and especially with workshops and seminars, it must have a proven track record. Also, a major benefit for workshops, not mentioned on the previous slide, but is relevant to this slide as well. You video record your workshop or seminar. You obviously have the video format you initially recorded the workshop in. If you strip the audio from the video, you have an MP3, an audio recording. And if you then send that audio recording off to be transcribed, have a text product that you can either print digitally and create a PDF, or you could hard copy print it to create a booklet or small print publication. Now those recordings can be produced into information products that you can sell yourself and also license. So you have the potential to create multiple products from your workshop or seminar. And those products in themselves, when sold, can have proven results. So if you do that, you can also provide potential licensees with proven results for your information products derived from your workshop. Again, as with business systems, you need to create a promotional website or approach letter or pitch deck. As said before, your promotional website or web page can continually be updated and has all the information a potential licensee needs to know about your licensing opportunity for your workshop or seminar. Proven results, testimonials, details about the workshop or seminar, and your approach letter or pitch deck will refer potential licensees back to your website for more detailed information. Research potential licensees and their business, again covered before. Research potential licensees and their business online. Find out if there's anything negative or dishonest about them. What are their trading figures? Are they likely to have the expertise and the potential to make the most out of a license? So you can get a pretty good idea before you meet potential licensees whether they're going to be suitable or not before you even speak to them by doing your research. Meet them in person and only discuss under an NDA. More than likely, the content for your workshop or seminar is your intellectual property, your personal know-how and skills condensed into your presentation. Don't really want to discuss that in person with your potential licensees without them signing an NDA first. That protects your intellectual property. If they are interested after signing the NDA and reviewing the licensing opportunity with you, get them to sign a terms and conditions document. This outlines the key terms, what the intellectual property is, what the rights are, how long they stay in force, how much the license costs, the royalty percentage rate, and the geographic limitations. So it gives them the basics and nuts and bolts of what's involved in licensing your workshop, so they can decide if they want to go ahead with the license. So we're going to discuss licensors' responsibilities, what they are, and how you, the licensor, can support your licensees. So the first one, create a standard operational procedures manual. So you're downloading all your skills, knowledge and expertise into an operational procedures manual, which is basically a step-by-step guide for them to follow, how to present and deliver your workshop, and also how to market your workshop. You need to know how to get paying clients to attend the workshop. All this needs to be written down in detail. Also, a standard operational procedures manual is an effective sales tool. It shows prospective licensees that you have a tangible format for your workshop or seminar. It also promotes consistency, so if you have multiple licensees, when you have a standard operational procedure to show prospective licensees that you do have a step-by-step system all detailed down with your workshop content, how it's delivered and how it's marketed. Licensors must support licensees. Your intellectual property that you probably took years to acquire obviously has real genuine value. So state and show the licensee that your IP is proprietary. It provides a genuine competitive advantage. No one else has it and they can make money from it. It could also mean providing updates for your training materials, marketing methods, technology, software, services, and management. As you present your workshop, things might change over time, so those changes must be passed on to your licensees as well. Check compliance with the licensing agreement. For example, you could stipulate that they present their sales figures to you every quarter or every 6 months. Your solicitor or legal professional will be able to advise you on this. So check for compliance and they're doing what they're supposed to. Are they providing an accurate audit of their sales figures? How regularly are they hosting the workshops? Are they selling the workshops as they should be? Are they maximising the revenue opportunities? And basically, are they doing what they're supposed to? Ensure licensees can meet financial projections. How are they going to meet the financial targets that you set? Obviously, that has to be realistic for their business situation. You also need to discuss the market potential with your licensees, how you have been successful, and how they can apply your success to their market. Basically, here's the market, this is the size, this is the potential that they have, and how they can apply it to their market too. How are they going to set the price for attendees to your workshop? Are they going to sell products from the floor or coaching? How is that going to be bundled? How is that going to be priced? What percentage are you going to take from sales made from the workshop? What are the royalty rates going to be to you? How often those royalty rates going to be paid? And then you can support them in meeting those financial projections in a realistic way. So we need to know what sort of content goes in the licensing agreement. First of all, the licensing agreement clarifies the responsibilities of what can and can't be done. There are so many variables and nuances with your intellectual property. It really needs to clarify what they can and can't do with your information. So the licensee needs to know what the IP is and how and where it can be sold, so they are left in no doubt how they can use your intellectual property. For example, can they use it just in a live format? Can they use it in a recorded format? Can it be used in a single day or over several days? And really importantly, can they integrate it with other types of seminars or workshops or with their own information? Basically, can they mix and match? So that needs to be clearly laid out within the licensing agreement. They also need to know how your content is going to be delivered, what material is going to be shown, what remains confidential between your licensees and you and isn't to be disclosed when presenting a workshop or seminar. Can it be presented as part of a multi-speaker platform? Or can it be presented just as a sole speaker? You may want to retain certain rights yourself. Also, where can it be sold? You might want to place geographic limitations on where they present your workshop to a certain region or area of the country. Hopefully your licensees have established distribution channels and customer lists. That should certainly be acceptable in promoting your workshop to their list. How and when the licensor gets paid. We discussed the financial aspects of this in the last slide, but there are also other alternatives in how you get paid. Your expertise and know-how doesn't just have to be presented via a workshop. It could be presented as separate training through an educational establishment or another business. You might want to get paid on when those materials are delivered on a set fee per session, or they could deliver your training in the form of courses on a per student basis and get paid a set amount per student, or you could sell them a package of training materials. However they present your information, and you should get paid a percentage of the total package sales. Again, this all needs to go into the licensing agreement, how they can present your training and where they can present your training, and in what formats. And as a consequence of those different formats, how you get paid. What the licensor provides: training, systems, marketing. You need to state precisely what training you're going to offer, whether it's personal coaching, one-on-one, training materials, marketing materials to help them sell spaces for their workshops, products or courses, software systems, IT systems, management systems, and of course marketing systems. How are they going to market and sell your expertise? Are you going to provide marketing support to do that? Confidentiality and non-disclosure of trade secrets. Now, you may have intellectual property and know-how your licensees need to present your workshop or seminar, but it mustn't be disclosed to the attendees or the students that they are presenting your training to. And also the non-disclosure of trade secrets. You might have copyrights, trademarks, certain information about patterns or designs that are trade secrets to you. So confidentiality and non-disclosure of all your trade secrets must be clearly laid out in the licensing agreement. So let's have a brief recap on what we've covered. Step 1, we looked at how to identify existing business systems and how to create new ones for your business. In step 2, we very quickly went over 28 different areas of business that could be systemized. These can both be used to improve your own business, obviously, and also potentially license out to other businesses. Step 3, we discussed how to prepare your system ready for licensees. In step 4, we discussed how to find and assess suitable licensees for your business. And finally, in step 5, how to license training workshops and seminars. More really an addition to licensing business systems. Not so much a bonus, because it really is a viable business model to license out workshops and seminars. I hope you found the information on this webinar useful and you can apply it in some way to your own business. Right, we're almost at the end of this webinar now, and thank you very much for sticking with me this long. I just want to close with a classic example of licensing. I'm sure you've all heard of Dale Carnegie. He wrote the classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, he started teaching classes about communication and people skills. He then went on to write his classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People, from the information he taught in his classes. From the book, he developed a course and licensed others to teach it. His courses under the Dale Carnegie Foundation are now taught in 90 countries around the world. All the training courses have to be presented in the same way, discussed earlier, so he created his own systems and standards, how his information was taught. and it all started with him speaking at the YMCA. Obviously, not everybody is going to have the same success he did, but it just goes to show what can be achieved from one person, how that skills and knowledge can be developed into a course that's licensed and with the possibilities for that license to go international. So next time you think of Dale Carnegie and how to win friends and influence people, you can now recognise him as a classic example of licensing. Now hopefully you've learnt a lot of good information about licensing business systems and workshops, but there's only so much I can teach you in a 1-hour webinar. However, if you haven't been involved with licensing before, I fully appreciate it can be quite overwhelming and quite daunting. You don't have anybody to ask questions, there's no support structure. There's probably many things you'll want to know over and beyond what I can provide you during this webinar. I fully recognise this, and as such I'd like to get your first licensing deal done quickly and easily. Now I can help you with personal support, from helping you to create your standard operational procedures manual to finding licensees. This is purely optional, of course, and there's no obligation on either side. But I would like to invite you to explore the possibility of licensing your existing business systems or workshops, and maybe even help you to develop new ones too. So to enable us to establish if you have a licensing opportunity or not, I would like to invite you to a free 30-minute Skype consultation. It doesn't have to be Skype, it can be by phone if you prefer. And you can call me on the following number, 01206 501011, or you can email me info@licenseit.uk. So we can have a chat by whatever method you prefer. And as I mentioned earlier, there's no obligation on either side. And just to explore what your business system is and if it has the potential for a licensing opportunity. Now, not every system or workshop obviously is going to be a licensing opportunity. It might be that there's too much competition out there. It might be that the market for your business system or workshop perhaps isn't big enough to attract licensees. But we won't know until we've had a chat and then perhaps do some research to find out more information. So I encourage you to reach out, make contact with me, and we have a friendly chat to establish if your business system is a licensing opportunity, and then we can take it from there. Thank you so much for your time in listening to this webinar. I do hope you found it useful and how licensing can generate an additional revenue stream for you. My name's Stephen Burt. I hope to speak to you soon, and thank you very much for watching.